Is there anything better than the smell of onions and garlic cooking? The answer is no. Well, hello there. Welcome back, everyone. It is November. Well, it's not November right now when I'm filming this, but by the time I post this video, it will be November 1st. That is absolutely mind-boggling to me. October just kind of went by in a flash. It was like I passed out and then I woke up and it's November. I don't know. In light of it being November and about 3.5 weeks away from one of my favorite holidays and celebrations of the year, Thanksgiving, I thought this month on More Salt I would take you through some of my favorite Thanksgiving recipes. And to start, I wanted to show you how to make a classic Thanksgiving staple, gravy. I know a lot of you people are probably thinking, how can gravy be vegan? It has butter and giblets and, you know, chicken stock and turkey stock in it. Well, shut your mouth. So there are basically 4 components that make a gravy. One component is that you need some sort of fat. In this case, I will be using Earth Balance as my fat of choice. It's vegan, it's a vegan buttery spread. It tastes a lot like butter and it's really good. The next component you need is you need some sort of thickening agent. In gravy, usually flour is used. So if you are gluten-free, unfortunately this recipe is just not for you. There are many different ways you can thicken things without using gluten, but in this recipe I am using flour, so I'm just gonna focus on that. So, thickening agent is flour. The next component that you need is liquid, some sort of liquid that will give it a saucy consistency, flavor. I am using vegetable stock and almond milk. Obviously, if you are not vegan or vegetarian, you can use turkey stock or chicken stock. It doesn't matter to me. Just some sort of liquid that will make it gravy-like. The last component that makes gravy gravy is flavor. I am using onions and garlic. Onion and garlic provide an amazing flavor in this gravy, and my husband actually has told me that he prefers this gravy to normal gravy that people serve on Thanksgiving. So if you are vegan or vegetarian, I highly encourage you to make this gravy during your Thanksgiving celebration so you don't feel left out and you still have a delicious saucy gravy to eat with your amazing epic Thanksgiving meal. It's gonna be a very informal recipe, an informal video, more so than my other ones are. So I'm just gonna be like playing around. This is a recipe I've done so many times, so I don't really even have to think about it. But I will share with you all of my tips and tricks to making perfect, amazing gravy. So let's get started. Let's get to cooking. So I'm gonna set I have an electric stove. It is the bane of my existence and I hate it. But you know, you gotta work with what you got, and this is what I got. So I'm using an electric stove. If you have a gas stove, damn you, I'm so jealous. But yeah, you're just gonna put your heat, I don't know, medium, high. And I am not gonna add the Earth Balance quite yet. I'm actually going to start with a little bit of olive oil to just saute the onions in. That's the first step. You're gonna saute your onions. I have used a half of an onion. Boop. I've used half an onion, and I would recommend cutting the onion pretty small in pretty small dice formations, because you don't want huge chunks of onion to, you know, you don't want that in your gravy, ew. And if you want this gravy to be really silky smooth, you can, after it's done cooking and doing its thing in the in the saute pan. You can blend it up in a Vitamix, regular blender, whatever you want, just so it has a really nice smooth consistency. But you don't have to do that. I actually don't mind this gravy a little chunky with the garlic and onions. Also, you can add whatever else you want. I love putting fresh herbs in my gravy. I love putting rosemary, sage, chives, parsley. All that stuff goes really, really amazing with gravy. I just don't have that stuff on hand right now, but please feel free to throw that in there if you are so inclined and if you like those flavors. Sizzle, sizzle. So you're just gonna let your onions do their thing for, I don't know, 3-ish minutes. You want them to be translucent. I always make it a point to cook my onions before I add in the garlic because the garlic tends to burn really easily. So I like to cook my onions at a higher temperature so they get fully cooked, and then lower the temperature and then add the garlic so the garlic doesn't get burnt. I feel that a lot of people who are new to cooking burn garlic, and it's so unfortunate. So tip, just lower your heat and add it after your onions and your bigger things have been sauteed, and then add the garlic. So while this is cooking, let's talk about this amazing season that we're in. Okay, we're still in fall, which is great. I live in upstate New York, so fall is literally a blink of an eye. It's gone before you even realize it's there. And I want to relish in the fall weather and the fall food and the fall festivities as long as I possibly can before it gets like devilishly cold out. It is, this type of weather is only from Satan. It's just awful. Oh God, onions are flying. So my favorite, my top 3 favorite holidays I feel like are obvious and pretty much universal for everyone. Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween. So if I had to rank them, I don't know. I think I would rank, Thanksgiving would probably be number 2 because I'm obsessed with food and just laying around watching movies and just being a big tub of lard. And then I would say Halloween is probably my 3rd, even though I absolutely love Halloween. I mean, who doesn't love dressing up and just making a fool of yourself and just having fun with your friends? That's the best. But if I had to choose between all 3 of them, definitely Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween. That is how it goes. What's your order that you would do? Let me know. I would love to know the hierarchy of holidays to you. So at this point, I'm gonna add in the Buddha, the earth balance. I'm doing about a tablespoon to start. We'll see what happens. Okay, so now that, here, I'll show you what's happening. Oh. So now that the onions are kind of translucent, you see that? So now that the onions are kind of translucent, I am going to add in the garlic. Lower the heat just a tad. And I used about 2 cloves of garlic. You can obviously add more. This is a very basic recipe. Do whatever you want with it. That's the beauty of cooking. You can make it your own. It's a great creative outlet to you, what you like, what you prefer, what you love to eat. It's just the best. You want the garlic to cook for about a couple minutes. Get all of the raw garlic intense in your face flavor out. That's what the cooking does. I'm gonna add 1 more tablespoon of earth balance because I'm a grown woman and I do what I want. So while that is melting, get a whisk. You'll need a whisk to whisk in the flour, the thickening agent that we are about to put in. I'm gonna add in probably like a couple tablespoons. It depends on how much gravy you actually want to make and how thick you want it. I don't like my gravy too thick. This is what we call making a roux. When you mix fat, equal parts fat and flour, that is called a roux. And that is used to thicken sauces, soups, etc. So it's important to note that when you are making a roux, you want to cook out the flour flavor. So you want the flour and the butter to cook in the pan for a couple of minutes before you add in the liquid, so that when you're done with the sauce, it doesn't have an aftertaste of flour to it. So that's what I'm doing right now, just letting it cook off a little bit. Now it is time to add your liquid. So I'm using vegetable broth and almond milk. It doesn't really matter what order I'm putting this in. I'm just gonna put in the vegetable stock first. Put in about like half a cup and whisk that baby. Whisk it up, whisk it up. And you'll see that it starts to thicken very quickly. And that is what you want. Now you're just gonna keep gradually adding in the liquid. I also highly recommend, if you are using real butter, real cream, real milk, I recommend getting the milk or the turkey or chicken stock, the liquid that you're adding to the gravy. Get it hot before you add it into the your pan. Since this is a vegan version, I don't really notice a difference. I don't think it matters. So if you're making the vegan version, you're a-okay just doing this as is, like I'm doing here. So now I'm going to turn the heat up, medium to medium high. I'm gonna keep whisking this. The last thing anyone wants is lumpy gravy. So that's why you need to use a whisk. It helps incorporate the roux into the liquid mixture. An important thing also about thickening sauces and gravy is that you want the liquid to come to a boil after you add it into the roux. Not like a full boil, but a simmer. And you want that to simmer for about a couple minutes. And that activates the thickening process in the gravy. So I just added some almond milk. This will give it a nice creamy flavor. And I am just gonna keep whisking away. The liquid needs to come up to temperature, so it needs to come up to a nice simmer before it all thickens together, but it will thicken, don't worry. And obviously the other component of gravy is salt. Salt and pepper. I actually really like a nice peppery gravy, especially if I'm having like biscuits and gravy. A nice peppery gravy is just, oh, so good. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add a few pinches of salt. We can always add more later if we need to. And then some freshly ground black pepper. All right, that's just gonna keep cooking. Just keep your eye out on it. Make sure it doesn't boil too intensely, and it will thicken right up. And once that happens, I will see you soon. Thank you all so much for tuning in this week. I hope you give this gravy a try at your Thanksgiving festivities this year. If you do, make sure that you snap a pic and tag me in it. My Instagram is @MoreSaltPlease with 3 S's on the please. You all are so great and amazing. During this holiday season, do not forget to eat good food. Above all things, eat good food, take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video. And be sure to stay tuned this month for more Thanksgiving inspired recipes, and make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss a video. All right guys, see you later.